Hello everyone, I'm Amir Hussain. Welcome to this new training video. In this video, we modify a WRF input data file, such as a domain file or emissions file, on some latitudes and longitude points. For this task, we use a special software application called WRF Tailor. So let's start. I will show you how to receive the application. Search WRF Tailor, and on the GitHub page of WRF Tailor, here is the link to the SSH link. You copy it and here you clone it, git clone, and by this way you can get the software. Actually, I'm not going to do that because I have already cloned software before. I'm in the directory, inside the directory of WRF Tailor. It has a name list. I open the name list, and here I look for a section called modify by list of points. Here, modify by list of points. So the first step is to enable this section. If there is any other section enabled, you disable them. And here in this section, you can see that we have a target variable, the target variable that we're going to modify it, and target variable level. If your variable is 4-dimensional, you need to specify which level of the variable you're going to modify. If it is 3-dimensional, no need to set this variable. Just the value like 1 is okay for it. And there is a list of latitudes and longitudes, and this is the point values. They are actually the values that will be replaced by the real value inside of your WRF input data for this variable. So let's say, let me open a WRF input file. Our WRF input file here is an emissions data. Inside the emissions data, we have several different variables. For example, this variable. This is an emissions variable, and a gaseous agent, and we're going to modify some points over this domain. So for doing so, here I change the target variable to E_NO, my target variable, and here are my list of latitudes, and I'm not going to change it, but I just add something to show you that you can add whatever latitudes and longitudes you like, whatever points you like. So I just add 34.7, and here I add 51.9, and you should notice that the number of latitudes should be equal to the number of longitudes, and also the same issue for point value. For the last point, I add a value like 3.5. Okay, before saving it, go to the input data. There is an input data section, and we're going to modify the emissions file. So copy the path to our emissions data. I just copy the path to my emissions data. I remove the previous paths, 1, 2, and 3. We have 3 emissions files. and one of them is the parent file, the parent domain, the second is the nested domain, and the third is the nested domain inside the first nested domain. Number 3, number 2, and this is number 1, and overall we have 3 files or domains. I save it and I run WRF Taylor. Okay, something is wrong here. There is a warning message here. It warns you it should be variable level for this variable in namelist is 3. It should be between 1 to 1. So because this variable is 3-dimensional, the variable level, the value level should be 1. So I open namelist, and here go to my list of points. I change it to 1 because this variable is 3-dimensional and it doesn't have any level. So I put here 1. I save it and I run WRF again, WRF Taylor. Okay, all domains are modified one by one. So let me open the WRF cam domain number 3, and I open the variable that I modified. This is the variable that I modified, and nothing is shown here, and this is maybe because the values or the points are outside of the third domain. So let's open second domain. I open it. Yeah, here you can, for better contrast, let me check the range. Here the range is something like this. So let me run it again, but this time I want to change these values. I want to increase these values to get a better contrast. So put here 1000 or 1500, 2000, something like this. 3000 and 2700, something like this, and I run WRF Taylor again. Now I open ENGS. Now you can clearly see the points here that we added or we modified, we added on the domain. If I click here, you can see that the value of this point has been can be increased to more than 3000. So it shows that this is the value that we added to this file. Also, let me show you domain number 1 and the same variable. Here you can also see the added variables. If I can check, I can here change the ranges to get a better contrast. Yeah, these red points are the points that we added to this file. If I click on one of these points, you can see the value is drastically raised by several thousand, more than 2000, and these value actually were the value that we specified in the name list. So by this way you can add multiple points or modify your data over multiple points and change it as you desire.